My name is Joe Lombardo. I'm the editor-in-chief of the LogiSYM magazine, and I warmly welcome all of you to our first webinar on various topics which we'll bring to you on industry, the supply chain industry, the technology industry, and business at large. Today, we have the pleasure of having with us Shabbir Goolamabbas, who is the CTO and founder of Cloud Innovates and Blue Horse. Shabbir will be telling us a bit about his journey through the IT world and some of the challenges that he's been experiencing with deploying some of the technology. Some of it is quite basic, to small companies in the industry, service providers, SMEs, SMBs, who have expressed a great interest in having the software, having the new technology, but clearly there are challenges that he's overcome. Please join us, and I hope you enjoy the webinar and discussion with Mr. Shabbir.
So my name is Shabbir Goolamabbas. I'm actually not only a CTO and a founder of Cloud Innovates Pte Ltd, but also I'm a full stack developer, where I've done many projects on my own, integrating, developing software to dealing with microcontrollers and integrating them as a full suite for companies in different verticals such as maritime, logistics, retail, real estate, and construction. Basically my company's mission and vision is to help companies to go digital, and as well as to automate their day-to-day operations.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
Good. Good morning.
Good,
Mr. Joe.
Okay, listen. Thanks very much, Shabbir, for your time. Really appreciate it, and thank you for your patience. It's the first recording we've done on the webinar, so we had some technical issues there. So we went through your profile, and we found quite interesting background of yourself, your company, and I think we sent you also a list of some of the questions that we wanted to ask you about yourself, about the business, and now obviously we have this virus that is going around creating havoc on our lives. But let's start off, Shabbir, with share with us a little bit of your background, how you came into this industry and how you evolved into where you have arrived to today.
Yeah, sure. So at a very young age, at the age of 6, my dad got me a computer, and ever since then I've been in love with computers. And during my teenager time, I used to fix computers, mobile devices, and eventually I got my hands dirty on software, building websites. So I also worked for a company who used to be a mediator between British Embassy and the customers, where they handle their visas, and I was the system admin for them. Right. So eventually I started my own company, and I decided to do further studies. So I went into electronics and IT. Okay. And once that was done, so I went to Canada actually to study that. And during Canada, I was part of a business group called Student in Free Enterprise. Now they call Enactors. And that's where I decided to actually start my own company, Cloud Innovates. And when I came back to Singapore, I was working for ST Logistics subsidiary company for about 6 months or so. And then eventually I started Cloud Innovates Pte Ltd. So when I first started, I started just of a normal web design mobile app company. And then I got the opportunity in retail industry to do online commerce for them. So once that was done, then eventually I got an opportunity in logistic industry to create a full suite of logistic supply chain management solution. So I worked with logistic partners and basically help them to migrate their standalone systems to a web-based, cloud-based, which are hosted on their premise itself.
Right.
And also they are a cross platform. So basically, because of the mobile workforce, I help them to design a mobile app which is communicating with the systems as well.
Right.
And then eventually I got my uh, well, before I went for further studies, I had to do my national service. So I was a part of police coast guard,
Right.
and I got that, yeah. So some
Very
knowledge about
interesting.
maritime as well, and then I got maritime opportunity where I had to design a solution for ship management company.
Right.
So that's
Great.
how, yeah, this has been, yeah.
Very interesting introduction. Thank you for that that overview in a few moments. But if I can come back to your technical activity in IT and development of software, logistics, what time frame are we talking about? You went to the market when? Was it late 90s, early 2000s? What's the sort of time frame we're talking about here?
Okay, so in terms of okay, so all this happened. Okay, so I started my company in 2013.
Right.
So
Okay.
before that, I was doing some kind of web development and apps and all that,
Right.
but not like for enterprise solutions. So
Right.
everything started as of 2013
Right.
onwards.
Okay. That's great.
Excuse me.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So understanding the time frame. So having done some work in the logistics industry and having moved some technology forward, where do you think we are now, 7 years later, 8 years later, since you started your venture in this area? Has the industry moved? Is it still very sluggish, very slow? Where are the areas you feel that there has been progress and the areas which have not been moving fast enough?
Yeah, so regarding that, a lot of supply chain companies, they know that automation is a key tool now. So
Right.
they are engaging a lot of software vendors to develop automated systems. But now we are not only talking about automated systems, we are talking about mobile workforce. We are talking about immersive technology, VR, AR, right? So it's not only about digital transformation, but
Mm.
also uh, it's about changing the mindset of the people who have been working in a traditional manner.
Right.
So that's where I feel that, yeah, it has gone back. But of course there are some drawbacks where because the people the employees who are working there don't want to change,
Yeah.
and there's this gap needs to be filled. So they needs to be brainwashed. They tell them, hey, why you want to do the whole way,
Right.
you can do it anywhere. You don't even have to come to office now.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's very clear. We have a lot of resistance in the industry. People don't want to change. Technology is taken for a ride in a way. It's not really taken seriously.
yeah.
But in your opinion, where is this change lacking? Is it because the industry leaders are not taking enough sponsorship, are not taking enough leadership, are not taking enough engagement, or is it because they don't understand the technology evolution as well?
Yeah, so first thing is that there are businesses who don't understand technology. Second thing is they are very skeptical about sharing their data. This is a very common thing. Whatever I'm going to discuss with you is something that you might have already heard from other vendors as well,
Right,
because a lot of them are very skeptical of not sharing their data, and because of that, it becomes very difficult to communicate,
right,
and it's very difficult to know exactly where the cargo is.
right,
So basically, even for my this logistic partner, right, what I've done is I've actually done a cargo tracking system, which is tracked using it can be tracked using, right now it's being tracked by QR codes, but it can be tracked by RFIDs.
right,
And the whole idea is, and it uses image as well. So the way how I've designed is that in future, if you need to use computer vision to use some kind of image processing,
mm,
it can be done because they already have the image data.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope
But,
that yeah.
but Shabbir, of course, what you say is absolutely correct, and we can see this all along. People talk digital, talk technology, but really don't understand it and cannot apply it. But
Yes.
in your experience, obviously, we know very well that if companies don't change and don't embrace technology and don't embrace in the new way of doing things, they won't survive. And
Yep.
there are some cases now where people will be pushed out of the market. Have you seen this in your lifetime? Have you seen this in your experience where people have really rejected innovation and technology changes at their own peril? Have you seen this happen already?
Yes, I have seen some of it, especially when it comes to money.
Right.
When I charge them, right, then they'll be like, "Oh, it's okay, we can do with it," you know. But the thing is, the fact is that they are really struggling because they need to they cannot survive purely on Excel file. They need some kind of a dashboard and a
Right.
nice, a quick manner for them to track their inventory as well as know that exactly how much they're making and what is their loss.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Right.
I've seen.
But yeah, for sure, no one, everyone wants everything for nothing. Everything is once free, and therefore, when
Yes.
they see the your invoice or your quotation, they say, okay, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll do something
Yeah.
else. But again, this shows a very small mentality. But now going forward, so we know the market is very mixed. People are caught now between changing by investing or not changing and dying. What, in your view, now needs to change in the technology platform of the industry to move forward and to move the companies who are willing to move forward and gain a position? Because clearly, you invest and you will get the benefit. If you don't invest in technology, you will not get the benefit. If you don't um, understand that investment means a benefit down the road, you're dead. But what needs to happen in your view now to move us to the next step? Because 30% of maybe the people don't want to move, but maybe 60, 70% feel now they need to move.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. So for that, right? I've came up with a plan, like in terms of just giving them a freemium model, freemium solution. So I'll ask them to try it out, ask them to try the platform, ask them to try the whole thing, and maybe certain things are being locked, and they have to pay for it in
Right,
order for them to get access to it. Yeah. So there's something very common, which is again has been already happening in many software as a service providers where they give you free freemium, but the problem is that the kind of customers and the kind of clients I deal with, they don't really appreciate software as a service because they don't want to be locked down.
right,
They want flexibility. So
right.
when I tell them that, hey, okay, look, I've given you this, you don't want to be locked down, then you have to pay a premium,
Sure,
and so that I
sure.
can help you integrate more modules, more features, because I help companies to actually automate their day-to-day operations. At the same time, these are all modular basis, so they can
Right.
easily plug and play. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on about changing mindset, and I think you're absolutely correct. Change the mindset will change the way you apply the new technology. Now, I gather that you've been working more and more with service providers, logistics companies, but again, logistics companies only follow what their customers will drive at. So if you have a shipper who's very aggressive in pushing technology and getting better tracking system and sharing data and looking at understanding where the track and trace system is, of course, the service provider will be motivated to change. Have you
Yes.
had an experience working with shippers who have been able to shift the mindset, to change the mindset downstream, or are you only working with service providers in this case?
Right now, I'm just working with service providers.
Mm,
Um, of course, I would my vision or my milestone is basically is to work with of course the shippers or even the ships themselves, the ship owners. So at
right,
least we can have the end-to-end transaction, and we can exactly know from point A to point B where the cargo is going. Because right now currently, right,
right,
there's a lot of discussion about cargo getting misplaced, or how much raw materials need to be brought in into that specific area. So so I'm just trying to see whether what fits best. But currently, of course, for me is I work with I'm doing one project at a time in different verticals in order to see if I am able
Right.
to connect all the pieces together. Yeah.
Right. But isn't the case, unfortunately, we are in a losing battle working with the service providers alone, because service provider will not change unless their boss makes them change, and their boss is their customer. Of
Yes.
course, they will not change if they got to pay for the changes and they can't charge their customer. So it's a
Yes.
chicken egg situation, right? I don't move because no one
Yes.
pays me. I don't move because no one tells me. Where's the breakthrough going to come? How can we achieve a breakthrough in the industry? Because we understand the constraints that service providers have, but where do you see the breakthrough coming? Is it through technology? Clearly, mindset has to change, but what's going to be the stimulus for the breakthrough going forward?
I mean, okay, if for the in terms of Singapore, of course, the government is already intervening and they are giving a lot of supports to develop, and that's what we use as well. We tell the service providers or even anyone who wants to get it built, we tell them, hey, we have government grants that you can tap onto, and you can get like maybe 70%, right? So so 100,000 worth of goods for just 30,000 because
Right,
70% is covered,
right,
and some of them they agree, they are okay with it. Some of them they don't want to go through the hassle of filing those uh, administrative work that they need to file.
sure.
So basically, we help them with that. Their administrative, we teach them. There's of course, there's always a awareness and training given to them ahead. Yeah, for
Right,
all this.
right. So, Shabi, let's now look at clearly we have, and you're not the only one. Also, we have, because obviously I come from an MNC. Ramon has also come from MNC. So MNC is actually driving the market. I mean, if we drive the service provider, they will respond. If you don't drive the service provider, they don't respond.
Yes.
And clearly some MNCs say, no, no, you want to work with me, you have to do it, you pay, I don't care the cost. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. In our experience, in my experience, I've always worked on a collaborative basis. To you help your service provider improve, you have to share some of the cost, you will share a lot of the benefit, you will share some of the risk, they have to take the risk. So it's a very much collaborative. And I think one of the problems that we are seeing, and I'd like to hear your view on this, is the landscape is changing continuously, whereby one of the biggest problems we see is that the commitment and loyalty of a shipper to the service provider is on a much, much smaller time frame. That is to say, people do bidding and rebidding every year or every 2 years versus 5, maybe longer. And therefore, service providers say, well, why should I invest if I know that maybe next year I might lose a business because I'm outbidded, right? In your experience, has this been one of the factors that you have heard service providers give reasons as to why they don't want to invest or they cannot invest because there is not that long-term security? Is this one of the factors that you are seeing as well?
No, I have not. I mean, so far I have not came across this.
Right.
That this is one of the factors. Like on a personal point of view, is that okay? The service providers, they engage us because we give them that trust. We
Right.
give them that confidence that, hey, we can do what you want us to do, and
Right.
even we are willing to give you more. We're willing to offer you more than what a market is willing to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But
That's interesting.
yeah, so
Yeah. Go ahead.
it's yeah. So I've not yeah, I've not came across this.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
So clearly, you would agree with me that the business landscape, the logistics, supply chain landscapes are now continually changing. I mean, they have been changed the last few years for different reasons. Now we see that the landscapes will change more and more with this COVID crisis. They will change more and more because of maybe the trade wars in China and the US and all the other pressures, political pressures around. Where do you see the role of technology in the supply chain now. In our view, it seems to be even more important than before. But
Yes.
it comes back to part of my previous question. How do we change mindsets moving forward? How do we break through the resistance? How do we define maybe a different suite of technology to help us go through? People are talking about Industry 4.0. People talk about it, but 95% of people don't understand what it is about. And it just thinks there's an upgrade software between 3.0 and 4.0, which is totally not. But in your view, and coming from a technology point of view, where are we going to make an impact as practitioners, from a logistics point of view, from a service provider, from software development, going forward in the 21st century? What is your thinking now moving forward?
Okay, for me, yeah. So basically, what has happened is that when I started Cloud Innovates, thinking, okay, bringing people everything on online internet and all that. But then I realized that most of my clients, they have the money to spend on servers,
Right.
and they want to store all their data in-house, and they just want cloud as a backup. That's it. So I realized then eventually with time, so I started this. So I'm going to like basically go off from Cloud Innovates. I have this another company I started was BlueHorse.ai that purely focus on the most latest technology, where is focus on immersive technology. It focuses on edge computing, and recently I'm working on a platform called Edge Workflow, which will allow users to. That means we don't store any data. The user have all the data that are being stored on their own devices, and if they need a copy of it, they can just grab a JSON copy, and that's it. Yeah,
Right.
and they can distribute it to anyone else who can basically use that copy and add stuff to it or delete it, and eventually. So it's more of a distributive technology. We are talking. I'm not going to touch on blockchain because blockchain myself also I don't understand, and it's very complicated. But it's more of distributed technology where this will give confidence to the individuals that, hey, the data is with me and nobody else.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to do that, and everything is going to be on mobile. So it's 100% mobile, and so mobile workforce they can easily utilize, because what I experienced was that within the warehouse or even within a certain range, the people don't get internet.
Right.
They don't receive, or maybe sometimes the network is being blocked. So what happens? The operations will stop. If it's everything is on the internet. So that's why, because of that, we are designing a solution where complex processes can be worked on mobile device itself, because our devices are very advanced, and they can easily, we can add artificial intelligence libraries and all that to actually do processing.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a plan. Yeah.
So you said that Cloud Innovate was formed with certain vision, and now that you've actually had to rechange your vision to adapt to the marketplace, and basically creating mobile solutions is now the core of your activity. Did I understand you correctly there?
Actually, it's not really just the mobile solutions, but it's more towards edge computing, where bringing technology to the edge, where we have like IoT devices communicating with even a mobile device is considered IoT. So Internet of Things devices communicating with each other, where there is like a edge server. Yeah. So it's more towards edge, and then focusing more on the cloud now. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So which customers or which clients are you adapting this to? Because earlier on we were looking at most of your clients were not accepting technology, or were cherry picking, or were resisting. So where are you seeing success with these two initiatives that you are just told me about, the social solutions on mobile and edge computing. Where are you
Yeah.
seeing the? Yeah.
Yeah. So once, okay, the idea is because I realize it's COVID-19, and a lot of companies, a lot of SMEs, mom and pop shops, they require systems, but they do not know like where to go to, or even um, they don't even know whether they need it. So basically, what I'm trying to do is that uh, I'm I'm coming up with this platform. So once the platform is done, we will market it to these mom and pop shops, SMEs, or companies who feel that, oh, their data is very important and they want to be selfish about it. So
Right.
so I will, yeah, and they can use it. Yeah, they
So
can
these are
use
still
this.
so these are still in development, Shabbir. They're still
Yes,
in
yes,
your pipeline. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
still in
Excellent.
pipeline. Yes.
Okay. Now this is interesting because clearly there's going to be a cost to deploy this, and mom and pop shop are even poorer than your SMEs or SMBs.
Yes.
The question now is, technology is important, but is technology priced at the right level? Because pricing technology is not easy,
Yes.
but it's also becoming a commodity because it may be obsolete in 1 year or 2 years' time. And people are talking about charging technology on a pay-as-you-go basis.
Yes.
Is technology, in your view, too expensive? And should the price come down to make it more appealing? I know everyone wants to buy a Rolls Royce at the price of a Mazda 3, which is not possible.
Yes. So
But
right.
there
Yeah.
must be some compromise here moving forward.
So currently, like in terms of platform development, there's a lot of competition. We face a lot of competition. So because of that, even though we bring down the price low, people might not just. But if we offer free platforms, everybody wants it.
Right.
So the whole idea is to offer free platform, get them on board, and then if they require like, hey, we need a database to be generated, or we need some kind of a backup, can you do for us? Then yes, of course, we'll charge you a premium. So
Right.
that's my plan, because I realize that there's so many softwares with limitations. What I'm trying to achieve here is that at least give them the basic, and then if they want additional features, they can ask for it for a premium.
Do you honestly think that would work? Because if someone's is not convinced to buy the technology in the first place, and they welcome your freebie, do you think they're going to change their mind and pay for it later? If the mindset's not changed, I don't think it's going to make a difference when you get it free now and pay later.
Yeah, that's something there's a risk I'm taking, but because the thing is that to be honest, that a lot of people, I mean, companies, they do not know my company, so it's like in terms of marketing strategy as well. So in order for people to know, at least I can give them something freebie and see whether it works out after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Shabbir, you talked about competition in industry, and for sure, competition is always going to be there. It's a headache, it's a challenge. But one of the things that I find in my past experience working with service providers, with software development, with systems, with progressing, is the trust and the relationship with the provider. Because clearly, I've worked in SAP, I've worked with other smaller companies, and the Microsoft smaller companies, smallest applications for small businesses. And, in software, in system application, you never know how long the piece of string is. You look at applications, say, wow, yes, I can use that. But then you don't know what's going to come next, and you don't know what's coming next, and you don't know what you need next. And having that relationship with the provider is very important. How do you address relationship and trust with your clients to ensure that there isn't this suspicion that you're going to screw them later on in terms of pricing, or tell them something now which maybe later on might change again? And this is one of the biggest challenges I think people like you have in industry, right?
Yes. Actually, it works both ways. It's not about us screwing the clients, but the clients actually end up asking us more, and end up our payments are being on hold.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of trust. Okay, so basically, how I work with my clients is that my few clients that I work with, I will always have them to revamp their websites first
Mm-hmm.
because they needed a major revamp of it. And when they saw that how the website was in all nice and the way how they wanted it, then they go with me with phase two, and eventually goes with me with phase three. So the phase two, basically phase one is just like a website or corporate videos and all that, and then phase two is more of bringing everything digital, go on website, go on internet
Right.
platforms, and then the phase three is like adding immersive technology, like in terms of maybe how can we further enhance it, like using drones or using maybe computer vision as such. Yeah.
Right. So delivering quality and added value is what is the eye
Yes.
catcher. This is where you feel that the relationship and the trust can be built. Right.
Yes. Yes. We whenever I meet with my prospectives, I I'm actually very honest and very transparent. At the same time, I tell them, hey, by you adapting to if I get clients who are not really interested in going digital, I tell them, hey, what is a value that you're going to gain from by going digital and by you doing the traditional way of your work.
Right.
But it's very, yeah, of course it's very challenging, and it's very difficult to convince them because they are just adamant or to work their way they are.
So just to complete on this point of the relationship is when you're interfacing with your clients, how many of the people that you're dealing with are IT savvy or tech savvy?
Okay. Yeah, so actually, maybe the maximum is one, but not really. Like mostly the for me, I like to deal with bosses
Right.
because the bosses are more tech savvy than anyone else. they,
Sure.
they know because they know their business, right, and they exactly know what kind of technology they need for their business. But sometimes it becomes challenging because they feel that they are correct, but actually they are not. They we have to I have to like persuade them, hey, whatever you're thinking is not something that is, like, for example, like maybe they feel like, hey, only need to change this button, but actually for us is to write lines and lines of codes just to change that button, which they don't understand. They don't understand the
Sure.
back end.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Another thing. Okay. Another thing that why they hire me over somebody else is because I straight away give them a live demo. Like like anything they want to change, I show them straight away at the back end and tell them, hey, okay, I'm going to do this, and here you go, it's done.
Right.
So something that they like.
Okay.
Yeah.
COVID-19 presents an opportunity for yourself, providers like yourself, but also for companies to realize that they have to leverage on technology to be able to mitigate the downtime in the business, but also reduce some dependency on people for which the COVID-19 has actually knocked out of the equation. So there are opportunities here. We don't want to say we want to now replace people with all technology, but there is some potential opening to move us forward. What do you think? How do you think you could take opportunity of the COVID-19 scenario?
Yeah. So like earlier on I explained about immersive technology, virtual reality, and mostly virtual reality and all that. So there's one of the opportunity I can think of where uh, uh, bringing solutions that are VR capable, and also like the Edge workflow platform that I'm building is basically will help to people in this COVID-19. That's my whole intention. The whole reason to build this application, a quick one, is to assist people who can access it from anywhere remotely, and at least they have some kind of communication going on.
Right.
So the platform actually consists of things like inventory management, CRM solution, HRM. HRM will be mostly like, yeah, and also like uh, fleet management, but everything is going to be very basic, just enough for them to put in the information and access it as and when
Right.
they want it. Yeah.
And Shabbir, when will this be ready? When will it be available to users to take advantage of this?
Well, I'm giving myself at least 1 month. Yeah.
Okay.
So in a month it should be. So hopefully, if everything goes well, and if we are doing exhibition in June, hopefully it should be ready by then. Like
So
operating.
roll out by June. Okay.
May maybe May. Yeah.
May, June. Okay.
Yeah, May, June.
Excellent. Interesting. So Shabbir, how can people contact you? I mean, how do you, if you want to, obviously we will end the webinar shortly. So we want to leave the message of how people can contact you, how people can actually access what you're doing, maybe even call you, have a discussion, have a chat, see what you're doing in terms of innovation. Because obviously you have some very interesting ideas. You are developing things that are useful at different points in time. How can people contact you to move forward?
Yeah, so I have a LinkedIn account, as well as my website is there, bluehorse.ai. I have two websites, Cloud Innovates and Bluehorse, but I'm just going to focus on Bluehorse, where people can access my portfolio, as well as they can book an appointment with me through the website. Yeah, so bluehorse.ai is the one.
Bluehorse.ai. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so is it remote? They book an appointment remote. Can they talk to you? I mean, at which point? So they book an appointment and then you call them, or they call you. How does it work?
Yeah. So once I know, yeah. So they book an appointment and I can call them. I can then send them a Zoom or any other link,
Right.
where we can discuss.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
on
great.
opportunities.
Okay, Shabbir, we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing with you some of the challenges that you experience, some of the challenges that the industry is having now. And the takeaway message is clearly that technology is not going away and is ever more important in our life. But the big issue is changing mindsets and getting people to appreciate what you and many others in the industry are trying to change and move forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the very best.
Yeah.